What's happening, guys? Hang on, let me turn off some lights. Think that's better. Oh, had those two annoying shining lights right on the screen. What's up, Juan? Thanks for joining the stream. There's that 7.3 that have fuel in the coolant. Got the passenger side injectors out. Something that's hella weird is, hey, how are you, Juan? How have you been, man? I've been super busy, which is good. Considering we're not super busy at the shop, but I've been super busy. Got a big diesel right now. Dazeni should be here soon. Oh, much needed beer. I hear you, on. Hopefully we get some people in here tonight. Last time I went live, wasn't very many people. Yeah, same here, Juan. We've had some crazy rain. And we've just had some crazy weather. Some crazy rain. Oh, hang on. There we go. Where are you? Where do you live, Juan? I'm in Sacramento, California. Tennessee. Oh, okay. I used to live in North Carolina for like 10 years. Crazy weather there. Super hot in the summer, cold in the winter. It's a lot different than California. Yeah. I went to a place, it was called Four Corners. And it was where Tennessee, I think, I can't recall the states. What's up, Brandon? I think it was North Carolina, South Carolina, maybe Virginia, and I can't remember. It was where four states all touched a point, and it was called Four Corners. It was actually really cool. Yeah, I'm not sure what it's called. Hey, Murray, what's up, man? How you been? It's been a while. I haven't been on a live stream in quite some time. Me and Dazeni were just talking about how long it had been since we went live. Yeah, I'll look that up, Juan. It was actually really cool. It's called, I believe it's called Four Corners. East Coast Ken, how are you, man? No, that's different. Yeah, I'll have to look it up. It was what someone told me. This is one saying Four Corners is like Utah, Arizona, and anyways. Whatever. How's everybody been? How's your week been? I had a crazy week, but I had here's Dazeni right here. Look at who decided to join the party. What's up, brother?
It's not working. 1 second.
turn the volume up.
I'm trying to. I got new headphones, so I'm trying to.
I can hardly hear you.
You can hardly hear me?
Yeah. Can you guys hear me? Hey,
I can hear you.
can you hear me, Dazeni? What? I can't. I could hear like barely you saying anything. Can you hear me? Okay. They can hear me. It's you. Something's wrong with your mic or something. Oh, Brandon said, let's see. It's been a long week. I'm glad it's over. Well, Brandon, now that it's done, the good thing is he won't call you 5 times a day. He won't show up for 2 weeks. That's the benefit to that. That's how it is for us, man. We get those people that are like, what I hate about the industry, and we have to, well, I mean, obviously we have to, not coddle, but, cater to the customer's needs, right? I need my car by the end of the day today or end of the day tomorrow, and you bust your butt to get it done, and you get it done, and maybe you took, maybe in the past, sometimes I would like skip my lunch or whatever, to get something done, right? So you skip your lunch, you work half a lunch, whatever, you're busting your ass, and you get done, and the car's still there at lunchtime the next day, and you look out, you're like, are you kidding me? This car's still here. They needed their car really bad. Yep, oh man, he's probably since he racked up over $1,000 bill. Wow, we have a truck right now that's the 6.4 that I did. I did a video on a. I did a couple videos. I did a turbo removal video, and then I did the one where I showed the nasty valve train. That one, that truck is still at the shop. Dazeni said he got a new headset and it's not connecting. Yeah, the guy has a $17,000 bill, and he still hasn't paid us. Like, he's paid some, came in and made payments, but he hasn't paid, hasn't paid at all. So, oops. Oh, of course. Car's been sitting forever, and now all of a sudden I need it right now. Yeah, I need it yesterday. That's how it always is. Well, hopefully he gets his headset set up or fixed up. Oh, working this weekend. Do you work all week, Murray, or do you have some weekdays off? 10 hours Saturday, half a Sunday. Wow. No weekends for me anymore. Nick Hildebridal, what's up, man? What's happening, brother? Good to see you. Oh, that's good. That's good. That's good that you didn't have to pull off that pump, because it's a pain in the butt. It's it's oh, here's Dazeni. I think he's trying to come back.
Can you hear
me? What's up, brother?
Can you hear me?
What?
Can you hear me?
I can only hear like a tiny little bit of noise.
How now?
I can't know.
Damn it. How about now?
You're really low.
Yeah.
I can barely hear anything. Can you guys hear Dazeni? Oh, here I have my phone. Hang on. I'm going to turn my phone up. Can you guys hear Dazeni? Oh, here I have my phone. Hang on. I'm going to turn my phone up. Can you guys hear Dazeni? Yeah, I don't think you can.
Interesting. I'm talking now.
Yeah, but so this injection pump is man, I'll tell you what, it's a pain to get out. Whenever you want to say something, go ahead. It's a pain to get out, but you have all those lines sticking out of the back of it. That actually wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. Oh, you've worked all week. Oh, wow. It's going to be a 7-day week. That's rough right there. You go back to work on Monday, or do you get a day off? Wow, 7 days a week for Nick also. Holy moly. Ken, how's the weather on your side? Oh, A. Murray said he can hear you.
Verizon. Can you hear me now?
What?
No. Verizon, can you hear me now?
No.
No. Damn it.
Yeah. No.
Damn it.
Oh, it's my. Hang on. Yeah. No. Damn it. Oh, it's my. Hang on. Say something.
I can hear you.
Yeah. No.
Something.
Oh, it's my. Hang on. Say something.
Something. A. Murray can hear.
Oh, it's my. Hang on. Say something. A. Murray can hear. Okay, so I think it's just. Dazeni, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you good. Very clear.
Okay, something's not right.
Let me try something real quick. See if this works. How about now? Can you hear me now? Tony?
Try now.
Can you hear me now?
It's like really low. That is so weird.
See, I think it might be on your side, or
yeah, no, I think something's not right with my side,
or maybe it's me. Let me exit out and I'll rejoin.
Well,
oh wait, well now he's way better.
So hang on one second. I'm gonna turn the volume up on my phone. So hang on one second. I'm gonna turn the volume up on my phone. Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead. Way better.
Hang on one second. I'm gonna turn the volume up on my phone. Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead. Way better.
Hang on one second.
I heard that.
Okay.
Sorry, people. Technical difficulties.
Yeah,
I also got a new headset, so I don't know if that can be a problem.
Yeah, it's like I can hear you like really low. I wonder why.
Well, I changed my mic on the to the laptop versus the headphone.
Wait a minute. Hang on. Say something again.
Hello. Toys R Us.
Oh,
we got a speaker connection. Bluetooth. You got them on your headphones.
I was editing a video. And then I was like, I went up to the last second and I was like, oh, crap. I got to hurry up. And I ran in real quick and I didn't realize I didn't turn them on.
Gotcha.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
Okay.
It was weird because I could
Alright, so
hear
you're
I could hear you, but it was like so
faint.
faint. I'm like, this is so weird. Oh, it's because you were like all the way at the back of the room. Sorry about that, man.
You're good. All right, what are y'all talking about? 7.3
Oh,
lift pump.
Brandon said he watched my IDI video because he thought he was going to have to do one, but it ended up being bad fuel.
Dude, I haven't touched a diesel in a while. I think the last one I did was the injectors on the Duramax.
Oh yeah,
but compared to the old shop,
and fuel rail
yeah.
plug, right?
I was on the passenger side or driver's side, but no, I was on the passenger side for failed injector.
Oh! I was thinking of the one where you had to do all of them.
No, not that one.
Yeah, okay, that's what I was thinking.
That one I did the whole fuel system.
Oh, that's right. Oh, that's right. The whole fuel system. Yeah, wow.
All right, guys, just Tony needs to step up on the tech side. Oh, like computers and stuff, all that. You'd think I should be.
I had my headphones. I was editing a video, so my headphones were at the back of the room. So whenever he would talk, it would be like a little echo in the back of the room. Bill Beckett.
Oh, actually, I recognize this guy's little profile picture. I think he just followed me the other day.
Who? Which one?
I know the Learning with Juan. It's because it's like his impact. He's wearing the impact or something. I was like,
nice.
I like that. So how you been?
Oh, good, man. I actually went like a couple weeks with no diesels too.
Oh yeah, you're saying you're doing nothing but gas, like no diesels. Huh?
Yeah, it was just gas all day long, and then now I've got. I guess I only have one diesel right now. I got a 6.7. I had just went in to heat up my lunch. Right, I'm at the microwave, and my service advisor comes in. He goes, "Man, I need you to come out and talk to this customer. He needs to talk to the diesel guy. He's had his truck at Ford handfuls of times. They cannot fix it. He needs to get his truck smogged, and he wants it fixed." And I told him that you could fix anything. So, so I had to go out.
Can't fix stupid.
So I go out and I talk to him, and he's taken it to Ford a whole bunch of times, and he's describing a def problem, and he's not even sure they've replaced any parts. They keep clearing the code and whatever. So he has me scan it, and he's bringing it back Monday. So it probably just needs a def pump. It had a def quality code. I think it was def quality code. So
on the
I just scanned it real quick. I wanted to get to lunch because my food was in the microwave. So I was like, it's trying to get. I just wanted to assure him that I would be able to figure it out. So
we'll call you. I'm gonna call you in a week.
But I got the.
You already finished the 7.3?
What?
You already finished the 7.3?
Oh hell no! Are you kidding? No, man, that's crazy. So that one is actually a funny story. So that truck comes in, right? And it comes in, and we have some service writers that you could bring your car, you could bring your diesel truck in, right? You bring your diesel truck in, you're like, yeah, my truck doesn't start. Okay, all right, cool. All right, no start. Okay, and then we have other service advisors that be like, oh, okay, well, is this the first time this happened? Have you had any work done? Did it crank over? Did it not crank over, right? So we have one service advisor that just says no start. And then you're like, okay. So I get this 7.3. It's pouring down rain. I mean, dumping. It's on the street too. So I run out there with the jumper box. My jumper that I bring out there, it's not working. So I have to run back, get another jumper. I bring it around, and the customer says he thinks it needs an alternator. So I drive it around and I park it. I'm busy, but it's got dead batteries. So I need to charge them, right? So it's going to have to sit for a couple hours and charge. So I park it, get a battery charger on there, and then come back to it. And it had a code in there for electronic feedback signal not received. And that's a real common code on the 7.3 for a cam sensor problem. And so I told my service advisor, I say, hey, man, the alternator's charging. It just what happened is AAA. They you know how the 7.3s and the diesels, the alternator doesn't charge like that. Like a gas vehicle, you start it up and you can take jumpers off right away and it will stay running because it's charging. But a diesel, it doesn't start charging for sometimes 30 seconds to a minute. So if you pull the jumpers off, it's going to die because the battery's not charging.
Yeah.
And so you got to give it a minute. And so anyways, so I said, hey, man, you know what? But I have this thing every time I work on a 7.3. I open up the degas bottle cap. The very first thing I do when I pop the hood, I open the degas bottle cap and I smell it every single time. So I took the degas bottle cap off and I was like, oh, that's half the O-ring is sticking out of it. And the whole threaded part of the bottle is black. And I'm like, oh, this isn't good. And I could see this much fuel floating on top of the coolant, right? So I smell it and I'm like, oh, God, what is that smell? It's like, and it smelled like some chemical and I couldn't really place it. And I had another guy smell it. He couldn't place it either. I had another technician smell it, and he's like, oh, that smells like turpentine. And I was like, that's what I was trying to think of. So I went and I Googled it, right? I was like, can diesel smell like turpentine? And it was like, yes, old diesel will start to smell like turpentine. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And so anyway, so this truck needs injector cups. And so I write it all up. And anytime I have to do a big estimate with this certain advisor, I have to do the whole everything, the labor, the parts,
everything,
whole thing, right? Because I know the diesels and I know what I should be getting paid. And maybe he just whips right through it real quick and then I get screwed. So it's more beneficial for me to do it. And the shop pays me for it if I have to, spend a lot of time. So I spent 30 minutes doing this estimate on this injector cups because it's a big job. You have to replace every hose on the truck, the bottle. Yeah. So the service advisor calls the customer, and the first thing out of the customer's mouth before he says anything is, if you're going to tell me about the fuel and the coolant, I don't care. I already know about it. So he authorized the cam sensor and then an oil change. And when the advisor called him back and said, hey, man, I wouldn't drive this truck for very long or very far. With all this fuel in the coolant, it's not good for it. And he says, oh, you know what? Go ahead and do it.
That's all he needed?
Yeah. So, but I came in, you have those days where you're on your way to work or the night before or whatever, and you have this plan. I hope to get this done today. And then you get to work, and then you get a million other things happen, and it doesn't happen. And so I was like, all right, my goal today was to get the sleeves out. I wanted to get the cups out at a minimum, at least get them out and let them all sit for the weekend. And I had to do a ton of other stuff. I got a Daewoo that's overheating and won't have any heat. And at the end of the day, I finally got to go, and I got the last 4 injectors out. And then right before I left, I pulled one sleeve out.
Just one.
I wanted to get one out just to get it out, So, but I got it out.
Yeah, I got one at least.
Yeah.
That's how that North Star, it was like, so it started like my boss told me, he's like, hey, he put in this Cadillac. He's like, we're doing a resale. And I was like, you're kidding, right? And he's like, no. He's very good. Like, he has a really good poker face. So sometimes I can't tell. He's asking me, oh, it's a resale. So resale, control arms, brakes, like just this. And I was like, on this car, like seriously. He's like, yeah, the customer says I'm gonna die with this car. And I was just like, wow. You didn't scare him away, like with the price. Like I was like, this is gonna go south.
Complaining? You had like control arms and all kinds of stuff.
That's not the point. It's a North Star.
Like, I know. I'm just kidding. I was
like, I mean, he said yes. Like he's like, do it. I was like, all right. We get it apart, turn it down. All the main bolts, all of the main bolt threads fucked. Someone had already repaired them.
Right now?
Yeah, someone had already repaired them. So I was just like,
so they didn't repair them with a time cert because that's the only.
No, they put helicoils.
Yeah, a time cert's the only repair that is authorized by Cadillac to be a legit repair on their engines.
Yeah, I noticed. I had a bit bad feeling when I went to go loosen like half the main bolts and they were loose.
Oh
You
Jesus!
know, so I was like, this is not good. And then I don't know. I was like, they've already been repaired, so I don't know what to do here. Like, I don't want to go bigger. You know, I was like, honestly, just get another block and we'll go from there. Like, or
Yeah,
tell the
put a
customer
motor in
take
that
it as
thing,
is.
man.
So I had to call LKQ. I don't know if you know what that is. It's like a
Uh huh. Yeah, we have
used.
that. Oh yeah,
So I
they're
called
good.
LKQ. I was like, hey, what's the lowest mileage engine you got and how much? He said one with 84,000 for like $800. I was like, send it. You know,
The whole
I didn't
engine.
even get approval from the customer. Yeah, like just send it. Like if he wants to do it, he's gonna do it. It was already like 2 weeks out, so I was like, just send it. And he was
Wow.
like, so I got approved. So we got to get that one and then reseal that one and hope
So you're
it's.
just gonna reseal the used engine?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well that's cool.
Well, because I mean the block's kind of fucked, so
Well, yeah, no,
yeah,
that's
like this is
these new
like
payments.
there's no other options, either that or take your car, man. Like, and
Right.
we won't charge you, but you're gonna take it like in pieces.
Yeah, a tow truck.
So and then I don't know. We got like 4 bays on hold right now,
Damn.
but and it's kind of hard too. We can't have too many cars because the shops we're expanding the shop, so the back lot where we usually park a lot of cars,
Hmm.
we can't park them there because they're building there. So
Oh,
so we've actually had to turn some work away, like come back next week, or we got to finish what we have in right now.
so if
So
you're expanding the shop, so how much bigger are you going to go? Oh, hang on one second, real quick.
go for it.
My boy
The
Diesel Dog, what's up, man? How you been? Hang on, let me just say hi to a couple people. Good to see you here, brother. Gilman's Garage in the
Gilman,
house, and of
we
course
just bought
Bill
some
Beckett.
Macro stuff.
All right, so if you guys are expanding the shop, how much bigger is it going to be?
Well, we wanted to get enough for 6 more bays,
Oh
but
wow,
the
so
boss
pretty
is
big.
having problems with like the city and permits, and I don't know, the blueprints and all that kind of just went south. So I don't know how it's going. We were looking at where they were setting like for the posts to build, and I was just like, they're in the way. Like where are the lifts gonna go? Like where are the bays? Like, I don't know. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Uh,
It's one of these, but because he already bought 2 lifts, put them outside. Because he actually built the concrete. He got 2 lifts, put them out there, and then now he's trying to get it built, the cover and everything. And then he wants to have like 6 more lifts out there. So on
wow,
the out on the expanded shop.
dang.
Um, I told him sell it, relocate.
Yeah, there you go. So if you guys are expanding the building where you park cars, are you
Mhm.
going to have a different lot, or because you got to have a place for cars? You can't have
No, we do. So no, yeah. So I mean, we still have a lot, park cars, but that's already full with cars. We usually
Oh,
can take more. We park them on the side on the concrete where we're gonna put the
where
expanded
you're
shop.
building. Okay,
Yeah, but
gotcha.
since we don't have that, our spots that are open. Like I think we can have like another 14 cars outside, and then we could
Wow.
probably fit like another 10 inside, but it's already full. So
Right.
and there's like probably like 8 cars like that have been there for weeks and customers aren't picking up. And
Wow.
we actually got rid of like 5 on tow trucks, like just take them to the
Oh,
to
good.
the junkyard. Like
I hate that when you have
they
the cars that are sitting there, the customers that don't call back or whatever. It's like,
yeah,
yeah, that
for
sucks.
months and get
Yep.
rid of it.
Man, how's your truck lift?
Dude, I haven't been able to put a diesel on it.
Oh yeah, but you got it.
Like I
Oh, it's
have
all
like
good now.
yeah, it's a brand new lift. It's
Operational.
nice. Yeah, operational.
Nice.
Um, but yeah, I haven't been able to use a lift on it or use it for a big truck. That was the whole
Uh,
point. Because I didn't know. I mean, I just did it. There was one. I did a Duramax. It was like a 3500, I think, or 2500. I don't remember. But the lift I had wasn't rated for that, and I put it in the air anyways. and I was working on it, and my boss was just like, I don't like that. So
Well, he didn't like the truck being lifted?
like because it wasn't for the capacity of that truck. Like the lift I was using, I think I was using like a 9K capacity, and the
Oh,
truck
you
was like,
weren't using the truck lift. Oh, okay. Never mind. Yeah,
yeah. So, but
man.
I
At
think
my
we kind of
last
messed up.
shop, at my last shop, they got me a couple truck lifts, and I tried to put a sprinter on one. Right, it was the very first time. I was super excited. I put a sprinter on there, got it all set up, hit the button. Oh, it was like me, wouldn't do anything. What the hell? This is weird. Dropped it down. Let me try again. Same thing. The electrician had to come back because he screwed up, and he did something with the breaker, and it was only half the size breaker, so it didn't have enough power to lift the sprinter.
Oh, huh.
I was hella mad. I was all excited.
They blame me for a lot of stuff breaking in the shop
Oh,
because
did
like
they
I
really?
think yeah, like one lift, the lift I was using at one point, like I was raising up. I might have messed it up when I picked up that truck. Honestly, I put like a 12K truck on a 9K lift, and
We've
like
all done
sometimes
that.
I'll be going up and then it just stops, like stops working. It doesn't
Oh,
want to go up or anything. Like I'm like, and like one time it got stuck on the locks, and I was like,
oh
oh crap!
no.
Like it didn't want to go up or anything, and like I had to let it sit for a couple minutes, and then went back and it finally went up a little bit to unlock it. But it doesn't like now it doesn't like anything heavy anymore. So
Oh no.
and
Oh,
like we
you
never
did
had any
break it.
issues. Yeah, but like we
You
never had
did
any
break
issues. So I don't know.
it.
I don't like that lift. That lift almost killed me too. But
Why?
I set the truck down one time, I guess too much, and it rolled forward, and I raised it back up, and it slipped off the leaf spring,
Oh
and
shit.
it went like that.
Oh
My
damn.
boss was driving in as the truck fell. No one else was there, but my boss was there, and
Oh
the truck just
no.
went like that. I was like,
Damn.
sidestep saved me actually. Caught the caught the arm.
Wow.
I don't know, man. A lot of stuff I've never happened in my career has happened at the shop, so it's happens. Breaking radiators, never broke a radiator. Broke a radiator.
How'd you break a radiator?
Looked at it, I guess. I don't know. Fucking
Uh, oh
Nissan.
yeah. Oh, they always
Was it
the damn shit always break off anyways.
the little? Yeah. Well, I did a dry boat, and I didn't even do it from the top. I did it from the bottom. It was on a Mata, Nissan in something like that. Did the dry boat real quick, backed it out, and then I see like water on the floor. I'm like, what the hell? Where'd that come from? And I look at the hood, I look at the Titan, and I just see it like shooting everywhere. I was like, what the hell? So yeah, I broke that radiator. And I broke another one
Oh,
last
and you
week.
didn't know that you broke it? You like started
No.
up and it was like leaking coolant?
Yeah, I was like ready to ship it, I was like, all right,
Oh,
quick.
jeez.
But I was like, I had backed it out of my bay a little bit so I can clean up and put my tools away. And I noticed the coolant on the floor, and I was like, what the hell? And then I looked at the Titan, and like it was just shooting out coolant. I was like, oh crap! So
Oh
I had to turn it
god.
on. So I had to do some, get it fixed.
I did that on a 6.7 Power Stroke. I was doing a water pump, and I was trying to pull the. So have you done a water pump on a 6.7?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know how the like the lower shroud, it just stays in there.
The
Okay,
upper half comes.
I was trying to take it out, and I was using a radiator hook pick to like get like, so it's like the bottom part is, so here's the plastic, and then here's like the rubber seal right on the shroud,
Mhm.
and you have to pop the rubber seal over it to get it out, right? And you got to go all the way around. So I have a pick, and I'm trying to get it out. I don't know why. I just thought, oh, if I get this out, it'd be so much easier. And then all of a sudden, the pick slipped off and went right in the radiator. I was like,
Oh,
oh,
you stabbed a hole in the
damn.
radiator?
Yeah, and I knew it happened like when I did it. Like it was like, oh
It was
crap.
one of the things like,
Hey boss, I broke the radiator. Like this was supposed to be an
okay,
easy water pump job.
let me talk about that. That's a good like I like that subject. I actually messaged Flat Rate Mastery because so what happens when you break stuff? So I know several techs. So one tech I know, the shop he works at, if he breaks something, he has to he has to pay for it or he gets fired. Right? I have a buddy at a dealer that says they get a limit, like a monthly limit, like, hey, you break stuff or something like that, like you're covered up to this limit. If you go over that limit, then you have to pay the remainder. And then there's some shops like me, like I've never had to pay for anything I broke. So
So the first shop I worked at, the very, very, very first shop I worked at, I was like getting paid under the table. And I was in school and I found a shop and I was working there and I didn't tighten down an axle nut on a Honda. And we did a hub bearing. And I mean, I was new. I was like literally had, only been in school for, just a few weeks. And every day in my early career for a long, long time, a very long time, and I think I still do it to some extent, I would go home and I would think about everything that I did. And it was
oh
at home. I got off work. I went home and I sat down. I was thinking about the whole thing. And I was like, the axle nut. And I just went, oh shit. So, and I didn't even have like the boss's number. So I like was going through everything trying to find, and I got a hold of him. He's like, don't worry about it. The wheel's not going to fall off. It'll just need a new bearing. And so I had to pay for the bearing. I think they paid for half of it, but I was working under the table. That was different. So I've never the way it works is the way it should work is the shop takes the risk. So you may not get paid to put it on,
of course.
but you're not going to pay for the part. But now I live in California, so I don't know California versus Texas. I know here though, a good shop, you should not have to pay. You won't have to pay for the part. If it becomes they're either going to pay for the part and you're just going to put it on because you're not going to get paid to put it on, right? Or they're going to be like, you break too much crap, you're getting fired. So I mean, the whole limit thing would be we've had our limit now. You're costing more money than you're making. See ya. But I mean, if you're a good technician, you break some stuff here and there. I mean, it's just
It happens.
Yeah, I mean,
it happens.
It's the business. Things are going to break. People are going to make mistakes. And whether it be negligence, whether it be an accidental, you slipped in the pick lane, or
I haven't done that.
Or it just broke because you took it apart. I mean, whatever.
I will say I did a clutch one time. I think it was on a Chevy Cruze or Chevy Malibu, something like that. And it had a little nipple that goes to the brake booster, the vacuum port.
Yeah.
And it was plastic. And I guess it leaned too much that it broke off the intake. And it was like a $1,200 intake. And I was like, it was at my old shop. He was like, yeah, you're going to have to pay for that. I was like, I'm not paying for that. He's like, that's $1,200. Like, I'm not paying for it. Like, I'm not gonna it was an accident. I didn't do it.
Get you to pay for it?
Yeah, like I was like, I didn't do it on purpose. I wasn't being reckless or something like that. I lowered the engine. Like I didn't see it. Because usually sometimes I'll disconnect heater hoses and stuff like that, especially because they're plastic, and I've seen those break. I've had them break on me in the past, so like I made it a habit. Like if this looks old, if it's stretching too much, I'll just pop off the heater hose so I can tilt the engine. And that one I didn't see, and it broke. And he's like, "Well, you better figure something out." So I was just like, "Give me a new intake." And then I actually ended up finding a used one in the junkyard. Just $50, you know what I mean? Like swap it.
Man. I did a video a long time ago, and it was how to do a rear main. It was a Corvette. It was a yellow Corvette, and it was I think I was doing a rear main and an oil pan, and I did a video on it. Right, I had never worked on a Corvette, not anything like that. I'd done small stuff, and so I was like, "Oh, I'll make a video about it," And
I
anyways,
remember that one.
when I did the video, that job, when I lifted up the engine, I broke the brake booster nipple off the intake, off the back of the intake.
Mm.
And so, they weren't mad. I was like, they weren't mad at all. They were, here, one guy has like a plastic soldering gun, so we tried to fix it. And the minute I touched it, it broke right off. And so we had to buy a new intake. But yeah, I broke that intake on that Corvette, on that actual job that I was doing. So
I think I broke an alternator one time by accident. I dropped it on my hand.
Oh.
And it fell. And it wasn't on, it was literally accident. I grabbed the alternator. And when I turned, it got caught. I had a rag. And the rag was like underneath something else. I think it was under a bracket or something. And it got caught on the rag. So when I pulled it up, it like took it out of my hand. And it fell. And it broke the ear. And I was like, it was an OEM alternator too, like brand new from Kia.
Damn.
I think it was like a $700-800 alternator, and I was just like,
wow. I heard a guy about a guy worked at a shop, and the guy had a brand new Allison transmission on the transmission jack, and it fell.
It tipped over
and broke the case.
Oh,
brand new Allison.
Dude, that's like a 6,000.
That's like hell of money, bro. That's like hope the guys don't get fired on that one.
One time, I think the first North Star I did, I don't know what happened. After I jumped the subframe, somehow the windshield cracked. Customer was pissed. He's like, my windshield wasn't, and it wasn't cracked, but I was just like, I don't know. The only thing I could think of is somehow the frame angled or something and cracked the windshield. And it was just like.
So here's a crazy story. So at my first flat rate shop, this was a long time ago, 16 years ago, right? So it was on a Friday. It was on a Friday, and this guy was doing a clutch on a Nissan. It was an Infinity or a Nissan or something like that. But it was weird because the release the release bearing, you had to actually unbolt it. Okay. It didn't sit on a shaft. Something with the release bearing. We couldn't get the transmission out. And this was a long time ago. And not a lot of information then. We had all data and stuff, but that was it. But you usually take all the bolts out and it comes out. It didn't come out, and finally figured out that it was something about the release bearing. It had to be unbolted or it came out the other way or something. Anyways, that doesn't matter. The guy gets all done with it, and they were getting ready to take off. They were going on a trip to the mountains, customers. And I was going on vacation. That was my last day, and I was gone the whole next week. So I left. I came in a week later, and I always got there before everybody. I walked in the shop, and I was like, oh, my God, it smells like burnt clutch, right? Like bad. And this was not a small shop. The whole shop smelled like burnt clutch. A week later, after I left, right, I'm like, what the hell happened? Well, the guy was bleeding it. He didn't bleed the clutch right. And so it had a bunch of air. And so it kept the clutch engaged. This is what they told me. Yeah, and smoked the clutch. Like smoked it bad. So, I mean, literally the whole entire shop smelled like burnt clutch for a week.
That's crazy. I think it kind of remembers like the Subarus. I think on the Subarus one time, you can't pull there's like a pin you gotta pull out or something like that in order to get the release fork out on the Subarus.
On the Subaru? No. No.
I remember there being like a little pin like this. You unbolt it, and then you get another bolt. You thread it in there, and you slide the pin out.
On a Subaru?
Yeah. I did I did a short block on one, and I was trying to pull the engine out, and I was like, "What the heck? What's holding it? Like everything's unbolted. Like I don't." And I remember there being like some kind of pin on the bell housing, on top of the bell housing. There's a little cover or something like that. You take that Allen, I think it's like an Allen head cover, pull it out. There's a pin in there, and you got to get a bolt thread that bolt in, and then you pull that pin out.
What year was that engine? I've never seen that before. I've done quite a few Subarus.
Like 2008, maybe 2010.
Because I mean, all the Subarus I ever see is the shift fork is like this, and your slave is bolted down right on top of the transmission, and you just unbolt your slave and set it to the side, and then your tranny comes out. It maybe just the model you were doing, but yeah,
it was weird because I couldn't pull it out. Like it was like it was like holding onto the clutch, or I think it was part of the release fork. And I was just like, dude, I was like, what's going on? Like everything's unbolted, you know? I was like, I don't see. And like I'm like, and like I read service information as like unbolt this hex, right? But like I was like, well, that hex is unbolted. Like I thought it was just some kind of, you know, I was like, I thought that like threaded into it and then it would come out, and then no, you actually have to you have to find a bolt with the right thread, put it in there, and then you slide that pin out. And then it's hard too to actually reinstall it. Once you install the engine, you have to put that slide pin in and kind of hope you get it perfect to like line it up.
Weird. Yeah, I've never heard of that.
I don't know what year it is. I have to. Yeah, it was like 2-3 years ago, man. Wow. It's been a while.
Man, I did a Subaru one time. I was putting a used engine in a Subaru, and they were going to put a clutch in it. So I was like, all right, you know. Well, I said, you know, now's the time to put a clutch in it, you know, if you're going to do it. So they got me, you know, got a clutch, put it in, stabbed the engine. Now I never do this, ever, ever, ever. This is the weirdest thing I've ever done. I literally put the engine in, brought the two together, because you know Subarus have the two studs at the bottom.
Yeah.
Okay. So drop the engine in, stab the two together, bolted it up, and for some reason I went and sat in the car, and I couldn't push the clutch pedal. It would not push the clutch. Period. Like it would not. It was like I was up against the wall. And so they looked it up, and they somehow we got the wrong clutch.
Huh, like the pressure plate was too strong or something?
Or it was like not the right size or something. I don't know. But anyways, but what was weird was that I normally wouldn't get in and push the clutch pedal. Why would I push the clutch pedal?
You just so happen to.
It just was weird. It was just one of those random things that, you know how something that you never do. And one time you're like, I think I'm going to try. Oh, damn. Good thing I did that, you know. So.
It's actually happened to me more often than, what did I do? It was just so, what was it? I actually had that happen to me recently. I never do this, but okay. Actually, I think yesterday or the day before, I was ready to call a bad, it was just a brain fart or something, but I was ready to call a bad fan assembly, right? Car came in for overheating issues, Ford Fusion, right? It was in a wreck, so I had in the front, so someone installed a radiator, new fan, new condenser, everything, but it's overheating on them. So I'm like, okay. So I get in, scan the codes. I have a code for cylinder head over temp. You know, I was like, okay, that doesn't help with anything. And I clear it, so I turn it on, run it, and this thing gets hot like almost instantly. I was like, oh crap! Like I'm reading scan data, and I was like, okay, pretty hot. So I turn it off. For me, anything over 220, except for Chevy Cruises, anything over 220, that's too hot in my personal opinion. I don't like that. You know, I don't like that. So I turn it off. I was like, okay, let's see. I go and look. I was like, well, one, fans didn't turn on. Notice that. Two, both hoses are cold. So I'm like, okay, I was really, really hoping he plugged the radiator because I was going to send you a video. I was like, oh, look, Tone's going to love this because you've never seen a plugged radiator. But I put the hose, both of them. I was like, this ain't got no coolant flow or something's going on. So I popped out the radio hose real quick because someone else did it. So I was like, maybe they didn't see a plug and plugged the radio hose over it. And now I was like, dang, this thing's got to have like a super huge air pocket. So led the system, whatever, and of course had an air pocket. Led the system, running it. Now it's running normally. It's already get hot than what it was prior, and I still have fan coming on. So it's like, huh, okay. Turn it off, and I look at the fan, and I see the connector. I see like you know how they have those little weather strippers on the back, the insulation on the harnesses, the connectors, so like
Yeah.
water and stuff doesn't get in there. I had noticed it was kind of sticking out. I was like, maybe this thing's not.
Oh, you talking about on the back side of the connector?
Yeah, like when you
Where
back
the
toward the
wire goes
little.
into the connector, the little rubber.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I see it sticking out. I was like, maybe this thing's not. The pin's like pushed out. And like before I pulled it on, I active tested it, and I was like, "Oh, the fans do work." So I was like, I pulled off the connector, and I'm pulling on them. I'm like, no, I guess they're in there. I was like, yes, just the insulation sticks out, you know. I was like, whatever.
Right.
Plugged it back in, and the fans are not coming on. And I'm watching scan data on the Autel scanner, and I was like 225. I'm like, I'm turning it off. I was like, this thing's getting hot. Like, why is it not turning on? I got power, I got ground, I got power, I got ground, I got my duty cycle, my signal. But the fans aren't coming on. I kind of want to call a fan, but the fan works. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I was like, I stumbled. And I called Mark over. I was like, look, it's doing this, it's doing this. I was like, I want to say a bad fan, but the fan works if I command it. So what's. And it turns out the Autel scanner was reading incorrect temperature.
Oh.
So the fans, the engine wasn't that hot yet.
Right.
So
Oh,
we just
damn.
let it run, and finally the fans kicked on and everything. I was like, wow. But that's happened to me more than once. Because usually I don't usually go with the gauge. I always go for scan data. Because I've
Right.
seen it a lot in the past where it's showing it's hot
Right.
and it's not. Or it's showing, cold, but it's running fine at operating temperature. But I've never actually had it vice versa where gauge is working in the temperature data. But I
My
did do a
coworker told
transmission
me one
repair.
time about a Chevy or something like that did that. But yeah, he saw it like the scan data said it was a Snap-on scanner. It was reading completely wrong.
Yeah, it's
I would
weird. I actually happened to me the other day too. We did a transmission rebuild, and it was on a GM. I don't know, maybe a 4060 or something like that. But the transmission temperature is internal to the transmission,
right.
and I get it. And I always look at transmission temperature, and this thing's reading -40. I'm like, I asked, I was like, hey Ryan, the transmission builder, I was like, did you plug in the transmission temperature sensor? I was like, because it's reading -40. And he was like, dude, he's like, now you mentioned that, I don't think I did. Like, he was thinking hard. He's like, I can't recall if I did that or not. I was like, but it's not throwing a check engine light. It's not acting weird. He's like, you would have some problems if it wasn't, And so we put on, this was my launch. And then we put on I was like, maybe it's my scanner. I was like, put the Snap-on on it and see. I was like, maybe my scanner just, and sure enough, yeah, like we put a Snap-on scanner and it's reading, the temperature's actually reading on there, but it wasn't on my launch. So easily to misdiag sometimes, man. You can't always, good to have a multiple scanner.
Oh yeah.
In my experience.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've had to plug in a bunch of them. Yeah, I had a Ford Fusion that I was doing a shift cable on, a transmission shift cable. And I had to do a relearn. Well, not relearn, but I had to adjust the cable. And you have to, it has the transmission has a dial. It's all automatic. And you have to like put it in drive and, do a certain procedure to lock it down. And I looked everywhere, 10 minutes in the Snap-on scanner. I was looking through every section. It has to be in here. Not in there, not one place. I looked at my top Don. It was right there. Like easily, I found it like in 2 minutes.
Easily foundable.
But I mean, I've had other ones where I had a Duramax. I want to say it was a Duramax. It was doing something. I don't remember what it was. But I tried the Shops Modus, the Shop Solus. We have a Modus Ultra, a Solus Ultra. I tried my Top Don. I tried my launch. I tried everything. Nothing worked. And then finally I went and got the Autel and it was there. Weird. And I tried multiple different scan tools.
That's what it pays. I I had one time we had an insurance. It was like Chrysler Caravan, and I think they had just bought it off a car lot or something like that. And it pretty much needed a transmission, like it was throwing transmission codes, whatever. And so the car lot was saying, "Oh, well, it's out of warranty, blah blah blah," or something like that. And the customer was fighting back, like, "No, like this check engine light came on." So pretty much, I needed to look up freeze frame data, right? We need to know when this code set at what mileage,
Right.
and the Snap-on wouldn't bring up freeze frame for anything on that sir. But my wife was able to bring up freeze frame, so we're actually able to get when the check engine light set and everything. The check engine light actually set 5 miles after they left the lot.
Oh, wow. Damn.
You know, but oh yeah. So sometimes you definitely need multiple scan tools. It's rare, but it happens.
Hey Juan, what is the X tool? What is that? Why am I not picturing that? So Bill, the top down is awesome, and yes, you can update it. I update mine. It just has like a red. Sometimes it'll say it has 2 updates, sometimes 7, different things. So yes, you can update it, and mine does stay updated.
X2. X2.
Yeah. Why am I? Wait. Why am I?
The Century scanner.
I don't know.
X2.
Yeah. So, but the top down, speaking of top down, and I talked to Enright Automotive, and we've talked about scan tools and stuff like that because there's a few things that once I got going with the top down, there was a few things it wouldn't do, and I got a little upset about it, and I was like, dang it, I'm so bummed it doesn't do I don't understand why this doesn't work. It's not doing this, and then then later I realized like. There's times I've hooked up the Snap-on scanner, and the Snap-on scanner won't do anything. It won't even recognize the vehicle, and I've had to
They
go
won't
get
read codes.
Not every scan tool will do everything.
No, that's for sure. Like, yeah, we actually had a 2019 Jeep come in the other day, and none of the scan tools would connect to it.
Oh,
we couldn't even pull the codes, but one Auto did.
It wasn't because of it wasn't because of what?
It wasn't because of like the pass-through thing.
It wasn't because of the what am I trying to think? What am I the gateway?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I was like, I don't think it's because of the gateway because we don't have that.
You don't have the gateway?
Mm-mm.
Really?
No. We should because we work on a lot of Dodge and Chrysler.
Yeah, you need to have a scan tool that's gateway capable, and you need to have it connected to Wi-Fi. That's important. Holy moly! Like you're going to hook up to a Chrysler, and it's going to say, access denied. You have limited access, and you can't hardly do anything.
That was pretty much what's happening with all our scan tools except one.
You guys need a scan tool that has gateway.
Well, we use the Auto IM608, which is the immobilizer. It's the one we use for key programming. That one worked.
I don't know,
but I don't think it has a gateway.
You got to tell your boss you need a scan tool that works with Chrysler Gateway because it's Chrysler's like security link.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is.
It's only like $50, right?
Scan tool that has the gateway, and then it has to be connected to Wi-Fi for it to work.
That's dumb.
Yeah. Or you have to have a Chrysler Fiat scan tool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny, Bill. Oh, that's funny as hell right there.
I gotta take my A8 tomorrow.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Hopefully, I pass that one. I barely passed the A6, so.
There is no such thing as barely passing an ASE. There is no such thing as that. Hey, anybody that's here, do you guys have ASEs? Do you take them? I can tell you that I've been taking my ASEs for a very, very long time. I've had ASEs I've been ASE certified for like, I don't know, 16 years, something like that. early in the beginning, I barely passed every ASE I ever took. It doesn't matter. now I pass them, a lot more. ASEs suck though, because a lot of the questions, they're not even
Trick questions.
Yeah.
They're not even real world. Like sometimes they give you like in a real world, like we'll ask you a question, right? But they want their answer. You know what I mean? Like, because in the real world, I was like, well, this can definitely be a problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a crank sensor causing a lean code. You know what I mean? What are the likes of that being possible? But it's very possible.
That's not going to happen. That's stupid.
Huh?
A crank sensor causing a lean code?
Yep.
On
It's
what
very
car?
possible. And
Well, no,
I'll send you.
anything is possible on cars.
I'm just saying it's rare, but
there is
it's
nothing that's impossible.
It's happened. Okay, I wouldn't be saying if it.
You've
It's
actually seen it happen?
Seen a video.
Okay.
A very, very well diagnostic guy. This guy, I think it was a Jeep causing a lean code. It's stalling, causing a lean code. It's causing a lean code because the crank sensors is cutting out and causing the fuel injectors to stop firing, causing a lean condition, setting a lean code.
That's weird. Yeah, I can't even wrap my brain around that scenario. I believe you, but it's just a scenario that's
That's what I'm saying. Like it's like I don't know. It's like AC compressor not working because you got a cylinder misfire. Why? I don't know. It happens.
So right here, look, Diesel Dog, they had to get a gateway for the newer Rams. That's what I've seen it on too, is like the Eco, you'll get an Eco Diesel will come in and you won't be able to scan it. You'll have I've had a couple 6.7 Cummins, same thing. Hook up.
Can't.
And it's like you have limited access. Sorry.
Like that 2019.
What?
I'm glad that one got sent off to the dealer.
Diesel Dog.
Yeah,
do you know
18.
I think it's 18 and up. Do you know Diesel Dog what it is for sure? But I'm pretty sure it's 18 and up. And,
I think it is 18
can't
and
do
up.
a lot with it. They won't let you do a lot. You might
even
as well
with the gateway.
What?
Even with the gateway?
No, if you don't have gateway.
Oh, if you don't have the gateway.
If you don't have gateway, you can hardly get anything. Maybe get codes. So
C's get degrees. Yeah, that's what.
There is no such thing as a pass. It's either a pass or a fail. Like it doesn't matter. You just remember one thing. Don't second guess yourself. I learned in school. No, I'm serious, and I've done this in ASEs. Go with your gut, unless here's the only clause that I have in that. I was taking an automatic transmission ASE, and I got all the way through the test, and I got to the end of the test, and I got to a question about the electronic pressure control solenoid. Well, I had a hard time with the ASE for automatics because I didn't understand that EPC, and that an EPC is like a fuel pressure regulator. When it fails, it's closed. I didn't realize that. I just didn't wrap my brain around it. I had taken the test. I had 4 or 5 questions relating to an electronic pressure control solenoid situation, and I had it backwards. And so I got to the end, and I went, wait a minute. If the electronic pressure control solenoid fails, that's what controls the line pressure in the transmission. If it fails, it has to go to full line pressure as a default. So I was like, oh my God, I had all those other questions. So I had to go back and find all the other questions and then reread them and answer them based on, the
next
backwards logic I had. So anyways, just remember that.
Yeah. Mostly do pre and post scans on my shop.
Well, that's what
I didn't make that a habit.
Our motives will say, have you done any repairs yet? Is this a pre-scan or a post-scan?
They just started doing that though. I don't know, it was like an update or something on the scan tools. Because it wasn't always like that in the Snap-ons.
Yeah, I can't remember. My Top Don doesn't do gateway. In the beginning, I thought it did because it brought up a gateway. But my Top Don won't log into a gateway. a Gateway Chrysler.
No.
But I have like you know what? Speaking of Top Don, man, I got this really cool Top Don tool, and I got a video coming out pretty soon. All it is a dongle. That's it. A dongle that plugs into the OBD port, and you hook up to it with your phone. Full functionality of everything I've been able to do with a Snap-on scanner, I could do with my phone.
Was it
With
like
this dongle.
Think Car or what? Think Car?
No, I forgot what it's called. It's from Top Don. But anyways,
from Top Down.
I've hooked up to my 03 Camry with a Snap-on scanner, and I've hooked up to my 2012 Sienna with a Snap-on scanner. And I hooked up to both of them with the Top Don. 100% same functionality. I went into the sliding door module and was like opening doors with my phone.
Like bidirectional.
Yeah, bidirectional. That's what I'm talking about. Bidirectional.
It's Christian.
Yeah, crazy. I can't believe it.
Yeah, the little auto fix I got, I thought it was just a service cancel, for like parking brakes, read codes real quick.
That was from Lazy Millennial, right?
Yeah.
That guy lives like over here. He works like in Sacramento.
Yeah, he lives in Sac. He
lives by me or around in the area.
Yeah, that's my homie Miguel. But yeah, it's a full functional scan. So I was like, oh crap. So then I was like, you know what? I don't have a good battery tester. So I looked up the auto fix. I was like, let me buy this battery tester because I was like, even if it's just a service cancel, because that was the first thing I noticed. I was like, it had the capability to be with the battery tester. I was like, even if this is a scanner, a service scanner only, like if I get the battery tester and I can use it just solely for the battery tester, I was like, that would be good,
Right.
But then I used it today. I was gonna go grab my other scanner, and Mark was like, dude, use your new one, see if it works. I was like, oh yeah, let me try it out. Tried it out, and I was like, oh crap, this thing's got active test and all of that.
That's
Scans
awesome,
through all the modules, like everything.
That's awesome.
I was like, huh. Big in the collision repair side.
So yeah, because Bill does the auto body. Okay, here you go.
Pre and post scans.
Manufacturers are now requiring pre and post scans. Well, you know what the funny thing about that is, Bill? When you guys get done with vehicles and you drive them, how much do you drive them before you say that it's done and fixed? Because technically doing a post scan only works as if you don't have a open, a short, an open or a short, basically. You haven't driven it to see if it's gonna, if the monitors. You haven't run the monitors.
I've never done a post scan, so what is the plan?
Me neither. I haven't either. I just like pre-scan. I'm just like, dude, can we get rid of this stupid screen? This is dumb.
I'm just checking to see if my code comes back. If it doesn't come back, we're good to go. I don't know what the post scan is. That's another thing too, man. Just actually like using your scan to the full capabilities, like just playing around with it. Like Mark's got this expensive ass Auto scanner, right? It's like the one that comes with the J box and scope and everything.
Oh, so he's got like the Big Daddy.
Yeah, he's got the real big one, right? And the other day he was like, dude, I didn't know I can pull up TSBs on this thing. He's like, look, I was just like bored and I was messing with it. He was scanning a code or something. And he pressed one of the buttons. He's like, it's giving me a TSB for this code, like through the.
Oh wow!
He's like, huh, I didn't know that. And then he's messing with something else. He's like, look, it even gives me a scope library. Like this is what this crankshaft
waveforms.
Waveforms. I was like, oh, that's dope.
Man, I gotta learn how to use my U-scope better. I'm trying. So I was doing so this is what I was doing. I was scoping I only did it because I was current ramping a fuel pump, right? Well, I only did it because I had a car that needed a fuel pump scope. I had just got my low amp probe and I'm making a U-scope video and I was hoping to include something with my low amp probe. And so I wanted to do it. So I had to, and nobody had a loop for a current ramping.
Fuse loop.
For the fuses, right? I just bought one. I'll get it like this weekend. It was like
nice.
by Fuse Buddy or something like that. But it had like all the different adapters for the different like size fuses, and then it just has the wire. But anyways, so when I first tried to do it, it was like nothing. There was no pattern there. I'm like, dude, what the hell, man? I don't understand. Like I went into the presets. It said low amp fuel pump, current ramp, right? And it was always right on all the other stuff. You plug in, like you plug into the car and you hook it up to the car and turn it on. And it says, oh, we're scoping a boom. And it sets it up for you, right? So are you still there? You look.
Yeah, no, yeah. I'm just like.
So I'm trying to get this thing and I don't understand. I'm like, I don't get it. It's so weird. It's the line. I'm like, what the hell's going on? And I tried something else, it's like the same pattern, no matter how I hook it up. Like, I don't get it. Like, that is the fuel pump fuse. I watch videos about this, right?
All the time.
I don't get it. And I'm looking at the U-scope and I'm like, why won't you work? And it's like, I just don't understand. And so I was like, well, let me see. So I start messing around. I go over to the time and I start increasing the time. And then the pattern's like going up the screen and getting bigger and bigger. And I'm like, oh shit. Oh, there's the fuel pump.
There it is.
Look, so here's the U-scope, right? So by the time it gives me the waveform, it's way up here. I'm like, what the hell? How do I bring it down? But it was like the end of the day. I didn't have time to look it up. So it was like down here. And then when I increased the time, by the time it got where I could see it was like way at the top. I'm like, I need to learn how to bring it down. Man.
The what I used it the most on that actually like helped me learn how to use it was amp clamping blower motors.
All right.
That's honestly like what helped me to start like, okay, learning how to use changing my time scale, my voltage scale, so I can see my waveform.
So you have Mark there too, and Mark, like, he uses that thing all the time.
I know this U-scope better than Mark.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah.
Oh, I just see him post all the time with it.
Yeah, well, Mark does a lot more diags than me, and he does he gets the harder diags and stuff like that. But that's where I started the most, is mainly just doing blower motors. And I think it happened too because it was happening during the summertime. So I was actually getting a lot of cars with like bad blower motors. So I was like, ooh. So I give my amp clamp, turn the blower on, and right away, so basically if you current in, current out. So right away, if you get a waveform, you get, something on your scope, your circuit's good. You know what I mean?
Right.
So right there and then you could mess with it, like how much amperage I'm going. You could drop the scaling and you can see your little attenuators. You can see the bad spots, like, oh, this blower motor is going out because it looks like shit,
Okay.
And then using it
more. But
AC ripple.
Coming now. I just got I just got something so I can test it easier.
AC ripple's another thing.
What?
AC ripple for alternators.
You know what? My top-down battery tester does ripple tests on.
I don't know if they're the same. I don't think they're the same.
Ripple test. What?
I don't think it's the same. It's not the same.
Oh, it's not the same?
I feel like it isn't because
it
technically
looks like this.
Oh yeah, you get it. So like you can do an AC ripple at the battery, right?
I've never done an AC ripple test.
Never?
No. I've always had machines that would do it, that would tell me if the ripple test passed or not.
Well, see, technically you shouldn't be over 100 millivolts on AC ripple. 200 is borderline. Anything over 300 millivolts AC ripple, like you got a problem with the charging system. So you can check at the battery, but the problem with that is like it still doesn't really tell you. Like you have your positive cable, so you're supposed to check at the alternator. You want to see because it doesn't. There's a lot of videos on it. I can send them to you if you want, but because it's like a very long. So I've made like a. What were you saying?
The old Ford Escapes, the 3-liter Ford Escapes, they would come in and they would have a battery light on, right? And you would hook it up and you're like, oh, it's charging. Like, this is weird. Well, this was back in the day when Any of my old timers here know about the VAT 40. We don't have those anymore because they stopped working and they don't sell them anymore. But anyways, the VAT 40 would test all that, and you would see that you had a problem there. But what would happen on the escapes is it wouldn't have the AC ripple would fail, and the battery light would be on, and it would like having charging voltage. But you had to, if you didn't have a battery, like an actual real battery tester, it wouldn't tell you that part failed, and you would just think that it passed.
I don't know. I never understood like those like charger like it's like it does a charging test and it says you rev the engine up 3,000 RPMs and stuff like that and load it. Like I don't know.
My one's pretty good, man. That one is like it's the first handheld one I've ever had. The only reason I got it was because I was tired of walking to the parts room to get the battery tester. We only have one, and the shop's big as hell. And I'm in
someone else has it
from the parts room, right? And so I walk all the way over there just to find out that somebody didn't put it away. So now it's in the shop somewhere, right? You have to walk all over the shop to get it. Just walk over and hook it up and go, oh, okay, all right. Well, damn it. And then all the way back. And then, of course, I put it away. So, but no, I actually really like the top-down one because it does it does a ripple test. It does an at idle test. It does a revving it up test. I know it's not a full, a fully loaded charging system test, but for a handheld, it's the best handheld tester I've ever seen.
I mean, I can't
do a ripple test ever.
I can't say that they're not bad. The only thing is the speed. I feel like that's what you can't see. So, like, say you use a multimeter. I don't care what multimeter you use, Snap-on, Fluke, expensive multimeter, right? Say you're trying to do a battery test. You want to see voltage drop, how low the battery drops,
right,
when you start it. Well, so I've done this test.
That's why the VAT 40 was so. I don't mean to interrupt you, but that's why the VAT 40 was. So that was when I started, and back when Diesel Dog probably remembers the VAT 40. It was an analog machine. You had an analog voltmeter and an analog amp meter, and a knob that you turned until you were at the loaded amperage that you needed to be. So, I mean, if you want to go with industry specs, technically half the cold cranking amps, right? If you do that with a real VAT 40 with a real load testing machine, every battery will fail. If you go a battery half the cold cranking amps, unless it's brand new, it's going to fail. So you never went half. You kind of just based it on the vehicle you were working on. If you're working on a big ass truck, okay,
put some load on it,
some hundreds of amperage, and you would kind of load it that way, and then you would watch your battery voltage from there. And it was an analog meter, so you could see it. You would see it sometimes like drop down and come back up, or and there's no lie with an analog meter. Like you can't beat an analog meter.
I guess so. But because I've tested like you do say I had a battery, right? It's at 12.6. You start it and meter reads up lowest voltage was 11 volts, which is a pass. But I've done it where I'm hooking up, I have my scope and the multimeter both on, and crank it, but the scope picks up, it dropped all the way to 8 volts, which is not good.
Right.
But the only reason it picked it up is because it's faster. It can pick it up. It can see that fast. That's literally all a scope is. It's just a graphing meter, but a very, 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 very fast graphing meter.
Right.
So, I don't know. I'm trying to get better at the scope. Use it. I think Snap-on did have one of those kind of, because like my old shop, we had a little roll around thing for the chargers. You hook up the clamps to it. It would tell you had a little voltage there, and then you could have the little amp load, the load.
Oh, okay.
Put some load on it. See if it stayed charging.
Yeah, those are nice. Those are nice.
They don't make them anymore though.
Nah. I'll be right back. Gotta hit the head and get a beer.
Helmet styles are still available. Have a solar battery tester and it works great. I test the battery both connected to the car and by itself. Let me ask you this, Bill. So you're body tech. Do you do like paint and body and like fixing the repairs, or you do like the mechanical side of it and like change out the parts that are needed for the body tech? How many people are on this thing? 2, 3, 8. Benjamin work and mostly electrical. So electrical, like if you got some like you do like the diagnostics of it, or yeah, screw North Stars, man. There's another one at the shop. Someone boss, get rid of it. I don't even want to touch it. After this one, no more. It's just not worth it, man. It really isn't. Even if they're willing to pay, it's just, you're married to it. And it's something you don't want to be. Man, sometimes I think we're in the wrong business. I feel like
Why?
body techs and repair techs, I mean, they're always gonna have work, man, and they stay backed up with work for months because the simple fact people get into wrecks, and they're dealing with nothing, and they just get into wrecks, and insurance pays for it, so it's not coming out of customer pocket other than a deductible. But
well, yeah, it's insurance.
So I don't know. I know. Like we actually get a lot of cars in from body shops for like, hey, we replaced this part, but it's still doing this, or we do the alignments, stuff like that, and we go over like, oh, this is what's wrong, and then send it back to them, and they fix it, and then send it back. But I don't know. They stay jam packed with work, like months behind, bro. Like,
oh God, yeah.
It's crazy because like the guy that came, he was telling us about it. They had a 2023 Mazda, had 50 miles on it, and the lady got rear-ended, and it's to be like $16,000 in repair. He's like, dude, just total the car. Like they don't even make parts for this car right now. Like it's too like
right.
We can't get you parts. Like but the insurance company's like, no, like we'll send you the check, and whenever they get the parts, fix it. It's just like, well, this lady's out of car. It's already been like 6 months or something like that.
Wow.
No, I lied, like 3 months. But they said there's no ETA for their parts, so they could be. Who knows? I don't know. But then again, I don't know. I've always wanted to like try out body tech because like I see there's someone I follow on Instagram. It's like Built for Days or something like that. And he gets these like totaled cars and he just like cuts them in half and like repairs it. I'm like, that's bizarre. Later D's a dog. Him too. He does some heavy line work.
What'd you say?
He does the heavy line work right there.
Oh yeah. Big rigs. He still works on some light duty diesels. He probably replaces more 6.7 turbos than I do.
Yeah, that's another thing. The insurance companies trying to pay $40 an hour. They'll screw them. You don't want them as you don't want to work with the insurance company. There's insurance company out there that will pay you.
Oh, they're horrible. Yeah, it's
They
just
want to
like
pay
when
you
you get
42 an hour. Like,
the warranty companies and shit, that come in and go, like when you
if
have
you fight,
extended warranty companies, that
if you fight with them,
you get screwed because it's like book time is their book time, and they source the parts, and they're like, well, we're going to put a used column in this thing because a used part is this, and that's what you have to do,
yeah.
and then you get
But
screwed.
you can tell them like they can eat it. That sounds it's good when you first start out. If you like open up a company or get like, and you get these, it's like, okay, like fleet companies per se, pretty much is what these insurance companies are. Wanting to pay you, oh, we're gonna pay you 40 an hour, but we're gonna send you a lot of work. At the end of the day, you're losing money because you're like, yeah, you're staying busy because you got, but at the end of the day, it's like the
Right.
profit isn't there. You're like, look, he's saying he's getting 42 an hour, and he has to pay a tech 30. There's no profit in that whatsoever.
No.
So it's just like, get rid of those companies, man.
Yeah.
I see. I'm very fortunate. I'm very fortunate to see a lot of like business and money side, even at my old shop. Like, I guess because it's just me. Like, I get to talk to, like, I see a lot of like and talk about um, revenue and costing and stuff like that. And it's good because it's like an eye opener. Like, you don't really think about all this stuff. Like that's why there's flat rate. You know what I mean? For shops to make a profit. Like, you take 2 hours to do a 4-hour job, shop made profit. But if you took 4 hours to do the 4-hour job, even though you're flat rate, the shop made no profit on that,
Right?
Because they still had to pay you 4 hours.
Yep.
So they would have to have charged at least 6 hours, and then, but yeah,
That's why you need master techs and high level journeymen that can produce the 60 hours in 40 hours. Like before I went to work at where I'm at now, I was always no less than 60 hours a week is what I booked. Always. No less than 120
percent.
Yeah, always. Sometimes 150, 160%. When all the chips fell, they all had to fall right, where you have a lot of crossover, engine mounts and control arms and all that kind of stuff on the same car.
Oh, the gravy.
Crossover, gravy, when you get the gravy train, But at this shop now, we have so many, because we have like 11 mechanics, 12
Six.
mechanics, I think. So we have like one guy who does pretty much nothing but express. We have a couple guys that do express, but they can do other small stuff. But a lot of times their work gets kicked over to us or to the journeyman. And then we have guys who maybe aren't journeymen, but they're faster R&R guys. So like we have one guy who he can do some diag, but he's a fast R&R guy. He's a much faster R&R guy. And so a lot of those control arm jobs and, all that stuff, like he'll have stacks of brakes. He goes home, there'll be 12 brake.
But see, that's another problem too, man. Like in this industry, is like gravy, like, I don't know, it's just consumer wise, people don't want to pay. It's like, why should, like, let's just put it like, why should a lube tech make more than a master tech because he flagged all these hours?
Well, lube techs don't make more because they flag the hours.
You're telling us, so let's just say you did 50 hours.
Most lube techs are hourly.
They're hourly, really. They're not flat.
No, not flat. No,
like the R&R guy's not flat rate.
Well, R&R guy. Well, so we don't have flat rate. So we have California flat rate. It's kind of everywhere does it different, but usually it is a hourly. We have to get paid by the hour period, no matter
clocked
what.
in. And
it's
a flat rate with a guarantee.
Yeah, it's a flat rate with it. It's like your hourly is this, but if you're 40% or you're more than, if you're 100%, then you get a bump, you get a bonus, you get whatever, and you get that on top of your hourly. And so in like where I'm at, it's labeled as like a bonus, I think is what it's called. a labor bonus or something like that. I can't remember what they call it in your paycheck.
Let me put it
So,
this
like
way.
for me, like I show up and I get paid X amount of dollars to show up, and if I do R&R and diags and crappy ass work and I don't make my hours, I make this much per hour for just showing up to work. But if I
so
make
like
over 100%, then I get a bonus.
you get a better pay scale or bonus,
Yeah.
whatever.
Well, it's not a pay
So
scale;
like
it's a bonus on the hours. Like you get, I forget how it works where I'm at now. I don't even understand where I'm at now. I forgot how they do it.
so like when I worked at Toyota, so many techs. So like, all right, I had my neighbor tech that I was learning from two techs. So I was learning from the lead tech. It was a huge shop. So there was like 4 groups of techs, and each group had a lead tech. So each group was between 8 to 10 techs. They had the lead tech in that group, and then they had like 2 main shop techs, and then loop techs, oil techs, whatever. So I was apprenticing under the main shop, under the lead tech, and then the guy right under him. And the guy right under him, he was getting paid. This is six back in 2016, 2017. I don't know. He was getting paid 25 flat right. Master certified, Toyota Master certified, and he would flag, between 35, 40 hours a week because of the diag and all the stuff he would get. And there's a bunch of loop techs, who are making, say, 17, 18 an hour, but they're flagging 80, 90 hours a week because they're getting fed all the gravy. You know what I mean? It's just like, and there's a lot of techs I talk to, like, why would I want to be a main shop tech when I make more than that guy? You know what I mean?
How are you flagging that many hours as an express guy?
Toyota Sienna control arms paying 8 hours, knock them out in 2.
Wait, express guys, we're doing oil change. We're doing control arms.
Well, I mean, like, I don't know.
So okay, so when
level 2 techs, like,
okay, so when you say express, for me, that's a level 1 tech. That's like an oil change guy. So when you said that, I was thinking the guy who's like, we have a guy who does oil changes almost all day. He does oil changes, and his work gets kicked over to the other people because he has oil changes. That's what he does most of the day is oil changes. When we're cranking, he's doing nothing but oil changes. So that's what I thought you meant when you said express guys.
No, yeah. Well, I guess because I hear that they call express techs, loop techs go from R&R guys for like suspension and stuff down to like oil changes. And then you have your heavy line techs that do basically just engines, transmissions, timing belts, stuff like that. And then you have like your 1 or 2 techs that main shop that do it all, whatever. But there's a lot of that here where guys like, oh, I don't want to be like, why do I want to learn diagnostics? Why do I need to learn drivability problems when I can flag 80 hours doing brakes, alignments, suspension work, tune-ups, and make more than the guy next to me who's only doing 35, 40 hours a week.
But you're really good. Master Tech should be making a lot more per hour, but it's a dealership too, so that's different.
That's what I'm saying. It's like
in every dealership,
sometimes it doesn't work out that way. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, yeah, he's making 25 an hour, say it's 40 hours, brings home 800 a week, and then you got the 15-hour tech bringing home 1,400. Because of all the hours he flagged. It's just like, I don't know. I think it's weird.
I never understood the guys who just come to work and do oil changes, and they're like, "Cool, all right, I'll see you on Monday for my
next oil change."
Like, I never wanted to do that. That's why I never went to work at a dealership because I didn't want to have to go up the ladder of doing oil changes and then trying to go up.
Yeah,
like, I
climb
went
the
to
ladder.
I went to work at a independent, so I didn't have to do that. Because when I was in school, I talked to all the instructors. Every instructor I had, I talked to them about what they did, what their career was like, where they worked, how much money they made, what they liked about it, what they didn't like about it, and I had decided early on I didn't want to go work at a dealership because of 2 reasons. One, I didn't want to have to be an oil change guy. and work my way up the ranks. And 2, I didn't want to do warranty work because I heard about warranty work, and warranty work sucks. Oh, it's my boy, Jude. What's up, Jude? Jude's in the house.
Yeah, warranty does work. It was funny because when I was at Toyota, I was hourly at first because I was still in school. And once I finished school, I had went flat rate. But when I was doing hourly, there was a bunch of recalls on the Toyota Tacoma headliners, right? Warranty time paid an hour. Those things suck. Like you literally pulling out the whole interior of the Tacoma and try to put them in. And so since like I was doing them so much, like because I was an hourly, because no one wants to do them. I was like, dude, like there's no way I'm doing that in an hour. You know, no one was wanting to do them, but I was hourly, so I was like, they just were lined up for me, and I do like I think the best I ever got was like an hour 15, just because you had to be careful. You're supposed to remove the windshield and stuff, but we didn't do that. Does the diagnostic tech seem to be the honey hole, if not what it seems? Your point of view. I'm not sure what you mean by honey hole.
I mean, it really, you know what? Like for me, it's like you have guys with drive and that want to learn more and do more and become more. Like me, I started my career and I wanted to go to the top. I wanted to be at the top. My goal was to learn how to fix. When I was in school, my goal was to learn how to fix just about everything on just about everything. That was what I strived for. And that's what I did. That's what I did. That's what I went to school for. That's what I studied for. That's what I shot for. That was my goal. And that's where I ended up. I mean, luckily for me, I started off in shops where I, was able to
would you go strictly Dickley? And by that, I mean just diags.
No, I'm not a. If I did diags all day, I would never make hours.
But what if they changed their pay rate? What if they say, "Hey, I can give you this salary,
but
a year plus."
But I'm. That's where I'm at right now. That's where I'm at personally. So if I don't make my 100%, I make a good wage just to show up to work, just to walk in the door, punch in, and work 8 hours. I make a good amount of money to just come to work. So if I had to do diags all day, I make decent money to do that. I'm okay with that.
That's what I'm saying.
I like to make my 100% because I make a bonus and because I feel I'm worth more. But also I kind of cornered myself into, because I do diags, because I work on diesels, I kind of pigeonholed myself into the category of sometimes I just have to do the hard diags. Sometimes I have to do, I do all the diesels, and diesels aren't gravy a lot of times. You don't make hand over fist on diesels, all the time. So let me catch them on the chat here because.
Yeah, there's a bunch. That's what I'm saying, huh? Juan, so you can you can make them.
And you're doing that, Davion. You're trying to get there.
Yeah, I'm trying to get there.
Okay, so diag gets 1.5 to 2.5 hours of vehicle. Head gaskets pay a heck of a lot more. But you know what I find is the least, unless you've done a job 10 times, if you're doing an engine, a transmission, a head gaskets, like Jude just said, you're doing head gaskets, engines, transmissions, things like that, you're not making any money. If you break even, you're happy. it paid 8. I did it in 8, right? An engine never goes smooth. Now, see, we do engines differently where I'm at. Our engines are like, let's say a lot of people opt for a used engine because they can't afford a new one. So when we do a used engine, we do a long block. So you get long block time on a used engine for us. And that means that when the engine shows up, if it needs a timing cover, an oil pan, a valve cover gasket, a rear main, you're doing all of that. I can't see it if you're trying to show somebody something.
No, I was taking a picture. My
Oh.
phone says like a certain time, but the computer says a total different time. No.
But sometimes you get those engines where it needs a valve cover gasket and maybe an intake gasket. And so you're going to make money on that. But generally, like those kind of R&R jobs, I mean, unless you've done it 10 times, you're not going to make a lot of money on it.
Nah.
You're going to make money on the way you're going to make money in this industry. You're going to make money on control arms. You're going to make money on, rack and pinions,
gravy,
things like that. Those are the jobs you're going to make.
Tune-ups.
The gravy train that we talk about, or when you have a bunch
not even valve covers sometimes, man. But that's the whole point of this. Is like, I don't know. To me, like eventually, I think what I would like to be.
Focus. It depends on your focus, though.
So, like, okay, I don't work at a Ford dealership,
you're
right?
Set on just making money right now, then you
you're
don't want to go and try to learn everything. You want to be an R&R guy.
Yeah.
You want to be an R&R guy. But where are you going to go from there? Because one day you want that weight, like when you're young, like you, man, you want that R&R gravy train, come to work and just bang out, 12 hours a day. You want that. When you get older, you can't do that all the time, every day, day in and day out, because your body, you just physically can't do it. And that's when you have to decide, like, it depends on how early in your career you start. And, I mean, it's kind of I don't know. I mean, if you maybe just do the R&R for a while and make a lot of money. But at some point, you have to start to learn and move up the ladder, because one day you don't want to be that R&R guy.
Well, not just that, the industry is changing, man. Like soon, there's not going to be too much need for R&R guys. As many R&R guys, honestly.
Yes, there is. Are you kidding me?
Not too much. I mean, depends how it is.
Dude, Teslas. We service Teslas. We have a fleet company, a security company, and they have a Tesla. That thing needs control arms, like control arms and bearings and all that stuff. They still break.
But okay. But do you really need 5 R&R guys for that?
Well, it depends on the size of your shop.
I'm just saying, like, if you have, let's say, money wise, why would I have 5 guys who can produce, let's say, 200 hours, right? Because there's that much workflow coming in. But then when it comes down to, okay, let's talk about brakes. Let's talk about EVs. Doing a brake job, you might, Tesla techs never see brake jobs just because they don't wear out. You know what I mean? It takes forever for them to wear out.
Right.
100K miles before you see a brake job on a Tesla. You know what I mean? So it's like, why have 5 techs if I can have 2 techs produce the same amount? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it just depends. I mean, you just have to, it really just depends on what your goal is, what your focus is, like Jude, he was in the dealership world. So, in the dealership world, you're doing the same thing, day in and day out, even if like he was working on Power Strokes. Like I work on diesels. I don't make hand over fist on diesels a lot because I don't work on them all the time. Jude's probably done way more stuff on Power Strokes than I have. He worked in a dealership. Like I work on, I go sometimes 3 weeks with no gas vehicle, with no diesels, and I work on nothing but gas. and then I get a bunch of diesels, and then I'm back to gas again. You know, diesel. Jude was like a diesel guy.
But he said he's like, to be honest, the independent world has really humbled me. I would like you to comment more on that, Jude. So like, I remember one of our live streams. Like I've done a couple. I think I've done like
Jude, you want to come on?
4 or 5 upper oil pans.
I'm gonna see if Jude wants to come on.
Okay, on a 6.7, right? The last one I did, I had it torn apart under 2 hours.
That's the easy part.
That's the easy part, and then
the cleaning takes like 2 hours.
The cleaning takes. I let it sit overnight. I let it sit overnight. I kind of got screwed because one of the bolts broke into the oil pan and stuff, so I had to extract it out.
Oh yeah, the last one I did, I had to extract one too.
And then I hate EGR. I hate the EGR on the exhaust. On the
the pipe on the exhaust manifold.
But I don't know. So it's like I did a 6L80 the other day. I had to ask my Chevy buddy because he's doing them all the time. He could take one out, put one in, and get it running in an hour. You know what I mean? But he's doing them all the time, and like me, it's a good job. You know? It pays like 6 to 8 hours depending what all you do on the repair. You know, but at a dealer can have that transmission in and out driving an hour and a half, right? And it took me a little under an hour to pull it out.
Sorry, Bill's got me laughing here. Go ahead, sorry.
No, I don't know. Eventually I would just like to just do just diags. But I do enjoy like rebuilds. Like I enjoy like short blocks. I enjoy like I've done 4 Hemi rebuilds. You know what I mean? Like full rebuilds. Like I would love to like, hey, well this say a Hemi comes in, it needs a rebuild, something like that. Hey, tell this tech, pull it out, put it in my bay, I'll rebuild it and I'll give it back to him. He can stab it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or give me a short block, I'll assemble it, have another tech pull it out. I'll do the short block, give it to him, he can stab it. You know what I mean? I'd rather do stuff like that. Like that's my eventual goal. Like I don't want to be R&R. Honestly, I'm kind of tired of R&R as it is. Unless it's something I've never done. Then I'm like, okay, I like this. Like I haven't done this yet, so it's new, intriguing.
Yeah.
So like, give me
I like having the mix. Like right now, I'm doing head gaskets on a 3.6. I've got the heads at the machine shop, and I'm doing injector cups on a 7.3. I like the mix. I like sometimes I like the no brain. Well, no, it's not. Let me rephrase that. It's not a no brainer doing R&R, head gaskets on a 3.6 because you got the whole timing and you got all that stuff. But sometimes I like to just tear into something and tear it apart. I do enjoy that.
Like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I enjoy like certain things, but it's like, oh, I gotta do some spark plugs on a 5.4. Like, I've done a bunch of these. I don't want to do spark plugs. You know what I mean? I gotta do an engine on a Ford. I've done a bunch of engines on a 4.6, 5.4. I don't want to do these over again. That's why I can't go to the dealerships. Like, I can't do the same thing over and over. It's boring.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of always focused on moving forward and moving up, and I don't know. I mean, I'm not complaining about where I'm at.
And the other thing too, that I do the only downfall in my new shop is like, okay, so my old shop, I'm so used to working on like minimum 2 cars at once. You know what I mean? Minimum. Right. I was like working on two to 4 cars. Like I'm jumping on here. I'm going in a circle. Tear this one apart. Check this one real quick. And here it's just like, all right, do this car. Whenever you're finished, you're finished. Like, don't worry about any other cars coming in. You know what I mean? Unless I get to a point where like this North Star, like, well, I can't do anything now, so now let me go check up on some other stuff.
Right.
So that's kind of been like a drag for me, just like like let's fire some tech so I can stay busy. But
Yeah.
we actually just got rid of a tech last
Oh no.
Friday.
Oh no.
He was our loop tech. We got rid of our loop tech.
Oh
The
no.
janitor, loop tech / janitor. But that was on him. He could never work a full week ever.
Oh wow.
Like either one day calling in or
Oh, that's no good.
he was just like he was no.
You can't have anybody like that. I mean, that's no good, no matter what level they are.
Yeah, but he would empty our oil containers and throw our scrap metal and collect our trash.
See, we have 2 porters. That's how big our shop is.
Yeah, well, you have 11 techs. That's a lot.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, cool, brother. Hit that like button, everybody.
Yeah, for sure. You know, I didn't even like this thing. Let's say I didn't watch your new tool haul video.
Oh man, that video is probably so I have that's that video I released that video on Sunday night at 5, and it's already at 800 and something views.
Nice.
It's like my biggest tool haul video. It's funny because it's my biggest tool haul video, my biggest and best tool haul I've ever had. It's not something I bought all at one time. It's just tools I
No, that's what I was wondering. Like you like
I saved them up, because I mean obviously I can't go buy all those tools at once, but people like to see the tools that I use. So I save up. Well, dude, I don't have anywhere to put anything anymore. It's like stacking up on top of my boxes.
You need to buy a Mr. Big.
Yeah, but I just kind of save up all the tools I've got, and then I just do a tool haul, and that one is like just smashing, dude.
That shows you what I do too. I think my last tool haul video I did that. I had accumulated those tools in about a couple of months, but I haven't really been buying tools. If I buy anything, it's been like diag stuff. Like what did I buy? Last thing I bought. I did just buy a Mac BOGO set, a Mac puller set. I'm actually next week I'm gonna buy. Mac's got a seal installer set BOGO thing. I'm gonna get that. But
nice.
What did I buy? I don't know. Like electrical testing stuff is what I've been mainly buying. It's like I have tools. Is like I have just about everything. You know what I mean? If I get something, it's because like, ooh, I want that. It's not like I need it. Like,
well, I just got that. I'm trying to get. I want to get a little more into like a little more electrical testing. I want to learn how to current ramp a little bit more, and so that's why I got the Fuse Buddy coming. But I did just buy a. So I work on a lot of 6.7 Cummins, and I do a lot of fuel filters, and I don't have a fuel filter wrench for them, for the water and fuel sensor, and I just saw Aries Tools has one that's got a 4-way. It works for 4 different sizes, and so I just got it in the mail today, so I haven't got a chance to use it yet. So I'm excited to use that. But I did just buy I told you the Fuse Buddy, so I'll be using that to do a little more current ramping. Just trying to learn how to use my little U-scope a little bit more.
Well, let me tell you before you end. Let me tell you the story. It's a kind of funny one.
Next time, guys, we're gonna get Jude on here. Just so you know, I offered him to come on, but we're gonna be getting off here in a minute. So go ahead.
So I had a 2018 F-150 last Friday, right? Or I came in Wednesday for complaining of no AC, right? And so no AC, do an inspection check. needs a reseal pretty much. Looking at the timing cover, oil pan, rear main, needs brakes. Like I just write up the whole ticket. It's gonna be an insurance claim, so usually we write up everything and see what they approve or whatever. And AC AC was shorting out the fuse, AC compressor. So like okay, so the AC compressor, and I kind of messed up because I was like, what do I do? I think the first thing I did. Usually, you should check, the Freon level, to make sure you got a system fully charged. And
Well, yeah.
I went straight to the connector, right? I was like, I ain't got no power. I don't got no power, right? So then I was like, go back, it's blown fuse. And I was just like, and it's a Ford. I've seen this a lot. Okay, bad compressor, You know what I mean? Like it's sorting it out. So it's like, send it, ship it, sell it. And
wait, but you had no power at the compressor?
Yeah.
And you
had a blown fuse. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Had a blown fuse.
Yeah,
it was shorting out, is what I was saying. Just the compressor shorting out. So I get the compressor right. It came in. We got approved Friday. I got the part. I was like, here, knock it out. They want to pick it up today. It's like, cool. Boom. I go get the AC machine. It's the new Freon too. It's the R1234.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So even more expensive, right? Forever. Like literally 30, 40 minutes, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Forever.
Yeah.
So as soon as I get the gauges, I hook up the AC machine, right? Empty. And I'm like, fuck. Like, this thing's empty. Son of a bitch. So I take it off and, well, that's be another the AC's clutch not working. Like, the fuse is blown. It's like, I don't know. I got my AC gauges, hooked them up, forced air into the system. No signs of leaks. I'm like, okay, there's no leak. I don't know. Something happened. It leaked out Freon. Something. I don't know. We'll worry about it later. I already screwed up. It's been sold. Take off the compressor. And I could have sworn I took off. It's 3 bolts, right? Well, the compressor's got to come off with all the bolts in it. For some reason, I thought I took 1 bolt out and then the other 2 bolts with the compressor. So when I was installing it, I installed the 2 bolts with the compressor, and then I went to the top to start the other one, and I couldn't start it because it just wouldn't fit. So I was like, now I gotta take this back out. So I take it back off, right? And I'm trying to start it, and I can't start it. 1 bolt keeps falling. I'm getting pissed. I was like, you mother. Fucking, I finally get it, right? I get it, start the bolts, and I'm like, shh. I'm already like frustrated, so I'm just put the belt on, charge it up, right? And it's like, boss comes up to me. He's like, I'm finally finishing up the charge. He's like, and I guess some bad stuff happened. He's like, give me some good news. And I was like, well, AC is still not working.
Oh,
and I was like, he's like, what is? He's like, he just looks at me. He's like, are you serious? He's like, figure it out. Like we're screwed. And I was like, well, long story short, I was like, why is it not working? I scanned it. I was like, well, maybe it's got a engine code. It's not letting the compressor engage. I was like, I don't know. It's got Freon. Fuse is good now. Like. And I'm going and I have all these codes, right? And I'm like, what the hell? Like a lot. Like I had like 14 codes. I was like, man, cleared them all. 2 codes came back on. And right away, like they wouldn't erase. They just kept coming back on, kept coming on. And I'm like, like that's weird. One was like an oil solenoid, and the other one was auto air control valve or something like that. Or like, I don't know. I can't remember. IAT sensor. And then I so maybe these things are shorting out the compressor or something. I'm already like crap, like whatever. And I was like, nope, those aren't working. And I was like, no, let me just check all the fuses. Like, I don't know, like I'm trying to be fast. I'm trying to get this. Go start checking all the fuses. I found a fuse blown. I was like, maybe this is my problem. Pull out the fuse, through the fuse, and it pops. I was like, crap. Okay, well, this is a short. I was like, what fuse is this? I go right. I look. It says AC clutch relay, and then all these other things, and I still didn't click, right? And I was just like, like okay, so this is why my AC is not turning on. There's a short with one of these things somewhere, right? And I was like, man, this powers all of these, so that's why I have all that code. So maybe something's shorting. I started going down this rabbit hole, man. And like I find him like, dude, I was like, Mark, look, I've checked this, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this. I don't know, what am I missing? Like, I'm confused. I was like, before it was blowing the AC, before it had a blown AC fuse. I don't have that problem anymore. Now I got this fuse blowing. And then we start looking at wire diagrams, and we spend probably like another 30 minutes, and it's just like it's popping. Like it keeps. We had the fuse saver, like it's just
Oh
blowing.
yeah.
And then I was like, you know what, dude? Like, we're going down the rabbit hole. We're taking a wrong. We took a huge left. I was like, I bet you it's something stupid. I was like, let's put our tool bags. Like, it was already getting at the end of the day. It was already like 5:30, you know. And he's like, hey, he's like, you don't think you pinched a wire? He's like, I heard you cussing earlier when you tried to install a compressor.
Oh, you're trying to put the compressor on.
And I was like, no, I don't think so. I was like, it's both. I was like, the harness is kind of like bolted to the block. I was like, I don't think so. He's like, I don't know. Let's look. So I crawl down, pull off the AC belt. I was like, he's like, this wire looks like it might be touching. I was like, huh. Like, I can't really tell. We can't pull the wire up. I was like, you know what? This goes down to the oil solenoid valve. I was like, and that's the code that kept setting. Fucking sure enough, on both the compressor to pull the harness out, and yep, I squeezed it between the block and it's operator error.
Oh my god!
But it was just like, I was like, what the heck? So
wow,
it was one of those days. It was
just
operator error. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Just,
I can relate. Never done that, but done some crazy stuff.
Oh, all right, man.
Well, good luck on your test tomorrow.
Thank you. I don't know if I passed.
Text me after you take it. Let me know what you did. And remember, a pass.
Later, guys.
There's no such thing.
Yeah,
I've passed on the number many times.
The bare minimum.
Your ASC doesn't mean like you're barely ASC certified. It's like you're as certified as someone who got 100%. Who cares? You can't think about it like that, you know. And you're learning.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the thing. Like when I first started taking A8 and like the advanced level diagnostic, you know, ASCs, I would barely pass. And then as I got, you know, more and more, it was like, oh, I know this answer. I just had this car last week, you know. So
yeah, for sure.
So
cool. All right, honey. We'll talk to you later.
All right, guys. Have a good night, man.
You too.
Well, thanks, guys, for everyone who joined us. We appreciate it. Jude, thanks. We'll get you on next time. I'd get you on, but man, I'm getting tired too. Been a long week. It's Friday. I barely stay awake these nights anyways. It's almost past my bedtime. Well, anyways, thanks for joining, guys. And we will see you guys next time. Nuts and bolts out. Try to copy you, Jude. Good night, guys.